I think for Mike, I think that Castiel could well have been human for longer, because I don't think he got to explore as many different versions of what exploring humanity could have been. Like, for example, he ate toothpaste, which was great, but it would have been nice for him to really learn to brush his teeth.
Yes, it would.
Yeah. He didn't get to have a lot of sex, which was a little disappointing. There were some things that I think we breezed over what could have been a more interesting arc for the character. That's my one complaint, I would say, over the years. I was like, I feel like we got out of that too quickly. What about you?
Yeah, a couple. Purgatory, wish we could have stuck there a little longer. I really enjoyed that. Like, I just thought that was kind of a different element. It was filmed differently. They used a different film treatments on that particular, giving it a different look. I liked it. But what's that? It could have been a whole episode. Oh yeah. I mean, I think it could have been like
a whole season,
multiple episodes. I thought that was really cool. But they. They had to get Dean back topside, and that was that. Also, I think Michael. Dean as Michael would have been cool to last a little longer and really explore that character. But I believe they had to get rid of that. Or maybe that was Dean and Dean. They had to do something for the 300th episode. Or it was Dean and Dean. Yeah. They had to wrap that one up quick because they had to get me back to normal for the 300th episode that was coming up. So.
I remember people ask sometimes, what was the worst day of shooting? And it was when we were crawling out of Purgatory. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah.
They had those giant Ritter fans,
and
it was like being in the exhaust of a jet engine, and they put it right on the gravelly dirt, and we were just getting like rocks and sand spit in our faces,
peppered
and
all day.
We're choking, couldn't breathe. Yeah. Black snot was dripping out of our noses, and they were like, "This is great, guys. It's looking great." We're like, "All right, cool, but my retinas are both scratched right now."
Right. Yeah. It was hot.
It was hot.
So we were like sweating, and so all the dust and gravel was like sticking to us too, which was just made it that much better.
That was great.
But it looked great.
Yeah.
So yeah, those were a couple. Was there one that you wished would have gone on a little longer?
Well, I
agree.
Yeah. It all went on too long.
Purgatory was one that I was thinking of for Dean's character. I am a writer, and I'm writing a screenplay right now. But I thought the relationship between Benny and Dean could have been explored while in Purgatory, and I think that there was an opportunity for the writers to create a couple short-lived characters in Purgatory as well that I was disappointed in not seeing. But I think Purgatory felt like a different type of show.
Yeah, I agree. Which was why I wanted to kind of explore that for a little bit. And I agree, Benny was certainly one of my favorite characters as a fan of the show. Like, I got Ty did an awesome job, and I'm big fan of Ty as well. So, but I thought that character and that relationship I thought was really, really unique. But again, like that's not what the show is. The show is about the brothers. So I had to get back to my.
And the angel probably.
I mean, not really. So anyway, thank you. Good luck with the screenplay. Yeah. Hi.
Hi. Thank you for doing Book Bash, Misha. Really enjoyed that. And
oh, good.
A book-related question for Jensen, but I'd love to hear your answer as well. Jensen, in the past you've said The Fountainhead is your favorite book. Is that still true? Do you have any new recommendations?
I I think that was just the last one I had attempted to read. I'm not a real big book reader. I don't read a whole lot. It's no surprise to many people. As many scripts and stuff that I pour over and read through, reading is not something that has ever attracted me for like a pastime, something to do to relax or whatever. So
it's amazing to me how much the constant distractions of cell phones and other like streaming services and everything encroaches on reading time too. Like I remember, I don't know if this is true of you, but like when I was in high school and college, like when I was much younger, I would read much more. I'd spend a lot more time reading because there was like the time for it. But now that time gets co-opted by all of these other little distractions and interferences. And
also, like silent films were, just coming around.
That's right. If you wanted entertainment that wasn't in a book form, you had to go down to the picture house and listen to. They were playing on the accordion and to accompany the black and white.
And then talkies came and really kind of encroached again on your
right.
On your.
It really has changed. I think it's changing how brains work, though, in general. Like, I'm looking at my kids and comparing that to how my childhood when we didn't have anything else to do but to read. And now my kids are, like, there's so many possible things for them to do at any given moment. And reading it's hard for it to, take center stage sometimes. Which is kind of tragic, really, because it's a great way to, like, fire up your imagination. I think. I don't know.
I wish that I read more. I wish that I don't know, can I say this? I'll say this. I had a learning issue when I was young, and nothing, I think it was, they diagnosed it as ADD back then, because that's what they diagnosed everything with. Really?
Me too. Yeah.
So I would read a page in a book that I had to read because it was giving me a book report in English or something like that, and I would read the whole page. I would read every word, and then I'd get to the end of the page and be like, I have no idea what I just read. And I struggle with that today. It takes me a very, very long time to read anything. And when I read scripts, it takes me an extremely long amount of time to do so because I'm reading it very slowly so that I comprehend everything that I'm reading. If I try to read fast, I'll have no idea what I've just read. And so that always, that was always a struggle for me, and I just never, I was never really a big book reader because of it. So, yeah. Thank you.
I'm a special ed teacher, so my heart really hurts for what you guys are saying up there. But my question is, in the show, Sam and Dean are 4 years apart. I think their ages when they started 22 and 26. That's about the same age as you and Jared. I wonder whether the brothers' ages were already set or whether they wrote the brothers' ages to match you and Jared.
Yeah. What a way to get attention for a question that's not about you.
Yeah, Norton.
Nobody wants to see that.
Stop when you play that music, I have to strip.
Getting back to your question, I believe it was written after the fact, and to correlate more with our actual age difference. Yeah, to kind of match us up a little bit. So that was that wasn't established in the pilot. So that was established later, and I think they did just kind of like, what's the age difference with Jerry and Jensen? Let's just do that. Yeah.
They did the same thing for Castiel after I came on the show. They said, he's been around for thousands of years, they said. So.
Yeah, he would know what the picture shots were.
He watched sea animals evolve to walk on land.
Wow, thank you. Right.
Hi. First of all, I want to thank you, Jensen, for how you and Jared portrayed the loss of a sibling on the show. I lost my brother back in 2017, so your show was really helpful for me, especially at the end. It gave me a lot of peace and things like that, so thank you for that.
Sorry for your loss.
Thank you. And of course, Supernatural was something I was really excited to just come back to and watch. So my question for both of you is, what is something that's really exciting coming up for you, either work or with your families, that you're looking forward to?
I'm excited about the new show that I'm working on, Gotham Knights. I'm excited to play a totally different character. I'm actually finding that I'm kind of excited to spend some time in a different city and get to know a new city, and actually spend a little bit of time on my own, which is not something that I've done a lot of. So I'm kind of excited about like the inner journey that that's going to bring with it. You were in Toronto quarantining for you were like completely isolated there for months, right? Did you go crazy?
I was already crazy going into the situation.
That's right.
So
That's right.
Nothing changed.
Right. Yeah, it's an interesting kind of thing. Like you're almost in a cell, right? Like with the.
Well, it was 14 days of quarantine in an apartment that I had never been to before. They were like, you're going to land, you're going to spend 2 days in a hotel at the airport until your test clears, and then you have to continue to spend the rest of your 14 days wherever your accommodations are. So yeah, so I checked into this, or went into this apartment that I'd found and the production had helped find, and was like, okay, I'm not going to leave this threshold for 2 weeks. And I didn't. I stayed there for 2 weeks and just did 1 million push-ups.
That was a secret.
Yeah, it was quarantine. It was quarantine.
Just sheer boredom.
That was it. I finished Netflix and then I just did push-ups. That's. I'm also looking forward to a show that I'm currently working on, or not necessarily in front of the camera, but behind the camera. We're doing the Winchesters, which is exciting to expand the Supernatural universe a bit, and I hope that everything goes right. I came here from that set. I'll be flying back to that set tonight, and it's going really well, which I quickly realized is if everything is going right, which pilot episodes, if nothing goes wrong and everything goes right, a producer has nothing to do. Because producing it takes place in the beginning, like you're putting everything together and finding the locations and getting the cast and doing all that stuff. But then once you're actually on the set and it's been working, you kind of are just there waiting to put out fires. And if there's no fires, it's like, wow. So being on camera, I feel like I feel like I'm out on the field playing. When you're directing, you feel like you're coaching, like you're there. And as a producer, I'm like the GM in the box who's like, "Is the game over yet?" But it is wild and crazy to think of that. An idea from 2 years ago is now being played out in front of me before my eyes, and it's really cool. And I hope everything goes right, it gets picked up and gets into a series just like Gotham Knights, and I hope you all enjoy it. If you don't like it, then that's fine. Feel free to hate watch every episode. Thank you.
They're tough